Dementia is something that's quite common among older adults. It is a syndrome, so that means it's a collection of conditions that share a common set of characteristics. Things like problems with memory, some issues around judgment and reasoning, and difficulty undertaking things that you would normally be able to do.
Just being forgetful doesn't mean that you have dementia. Usually there are changes in other types of thinking as well. So there may be difficulty knowing what day or date it is. There may be difficulty forming words. There may be some difficulty with what we call executive function, which is general planning and problem-solving skills. So Alzheimer's is just one kind of dementia, but it's the kind we see most often. So I tell people if dementia was all the kinds of soda pop in the world, Alzheimer's would be Coca-Cola. It would just be the most common one.
So one of the goals that you'll have as a volunteer or as a co-op student is to get to know residents and hopefully start to form relationships with them. It can be helpful when you are communicating with a person with dementia or with any other long-term care resident to be sure that you are speaking clearly and in a way that they can understand. And what can be helpful is to also try to mirror the pace at which the other individual is speaking.
As far as the best ways to communicate with a person who's living with dementia, I think that paying attention to our communication is extremely important. People living with dementia, when they have trouble communicating, become very mindful of body language. So I often recommend that we start in that very mindful space, present ourselves as very open, and to always try to find the opportunity to sit down and get to their level. The body language when you stand over somebody is that you're in charge, and people often feel like you're talking down to them. When you're face to face with a person, they can hear you better, they can see you better, they can read your facial expressions. The unspoken message is, I have time. I'm here, I'm relaxed, I'm open to what you have to say, and that sets up the best context for having them feel like they are valued and able to express themselves.
It's important to introduce yourself and indicate who you are. So you might share your name and say that you're a high school volunteer or a co-op student. Long-term care is the home of the residents. So it is their home, it's where they live, and we need to be respectful of that environment and their wishes. The first time you approach someone, if they're in their own room, it's important to remember that this is their home. And so just like you wouldn't want someone just walking right into your own home, it's important to knock at the door, wait for a response, and if they are okay to have you come in, then to enter the room. Respect and showing respect for people with dementia is one of the most important things that you can do. And part of that is thinking about how it is that we're speaking to individuals. Sometimes there's a tendency to talk down to someone or talk to them like they are a child. And that is being actually disrespectful.
You and I speak often in questions. We say, what did you do this weekend? Or I hear you went to that new Italian restaurant. How was it? We can do that because we remember. People that have trouble remembering, when you ask lots of questions, you put them on the spot. They have to bring up information that they may or may not be able to get at that moment. They have to worry about being right or wrong, and it can really be a blow to their self-esteem, and it may make them just stop talking. Instead of saying, what did you have for lunch today? You can say, I heard you had lasagna for lunch. That must have been good. And so try rephrasing questions as statements and see if that doesn't help you get a little bit further when people are having trouble speaking with you.
When you're working with an individual with dementia, there may be situations or times when they become upset or frustrated. And that's normal. We all do that.
So we use the term personal expressions. And what that means is people are expressing themselves in their own unique way with their own abilities through their words and actions. For many people living with dementia, there are times when they have difficulties, either understanding the world around them, remembering how to express their needs. As a result, it's not uncommon to see people become distressed when they live with dementia or to express words or actions that we just don't understand. And it's really up to us to try to be a bit of a detective and figure out exactly what it is they need or what they're trying to express.
But if you're finding that the individual remains upset or remains frustrated, perhaps just take a little bit of a break. So step back, give the person some time, and then go and visit them again at a later point.
The research has shown that even with people with very advanced stages of disability, there is often very strong emotional memory. For many people living with dementia, when they have difficulty finding words or retrieving memories, they may speak more to underlying emotions or feelings. For example, one thing you commonly hear is a person might be saying, "I want to go home." And often we get stuck trying to explain to the person why they don't live in their home anymore, why this is where they live, when really those facts are not what the person's expressing. They're stuck on the feeling of home. And that's what really is happening on the emotional level. And while we can't take them home again, we can learn what's missing, and we can try to provide some of those things that are missing.
Working in long-term care can be a wonderful and rewarding experience. We're so glad that you took the time to watch this video, and hopefully it's given you a little bit of knowledge, some practical tips, and some more comfort when you are going to be volunteering or working in the long-term care setting. We also hope that after that experience, that perhaps you would consider even working in long-term care as a career. You won't regret it.